G'day, and welcome to a wide world of webinars, Go-Way style. My name is Don, Go-Way's in-house destination expert, and today's topic is information and expert tips. But keep an eye out for the Go-Way recommended tip icon. This equals a Go-Way tip or suggestion when planning an itinerary.
Kia ora. Whoa, what are you doing in here? You're having a dream about New Zealand, my friend, and I'm in it.
I have been dreaming of going. Can I have a dream beard?
Sure. Let's go.
Are all kiwis that big?
Nah, that's a dream kiwi.
I don't want this dream to be over.
It doesn't have to be. Just book a ticket.
Kia ora, or g'day, or both, and welcome to New Zealand. Have you been dreaming of a trip to New Zealand? Dreaming of soaking in the hot pools of Rotorua? Trekking the Milford Trek, perhaps? Shooting over the in a jet boat over the Shotover River in Queenstown? Or jumping off a bridge, safely of course, with big rubber bands wrapped around your feet? Or laying eyes on the magical and stunning backdrop to the Lord of the Rings films? Discover its many natural wonders, unique Maori culture and warm hospitality. New Zealand. As you might tell from my accent, I am an Australian. And no, I'm not a Kiwi. Now, Kiwi is slang for a New Zealander that Australians use. And yes, there is a difference in accent, culture, and history.
G'day and welcome to this instructional video on the difference between Australia and New Zealand. Over the years, a lot of you fellas have thought I'm from Australia, but I don't sound anything like an Australian. Over the years, a lot of you fellas have thought I'm from Australia, but I don't sound anything like an Australian. So, see that was like Australian-ness talk. I'm from New Zealand. Some quick fire facts. Australians are known as Aussies, while us New Zealanders are known as Kiwis. That's because we have, here in New Zealand, Kiwis, they're like a little bird. In Australia you got like kangaroos. In Australia you throw boomerangs, while here in New Zealand we throw gumboots. I know at the start of my videos I say g'day, which a lot of people think is just an Australian greeting, but we also say that here in New Zealand. It's like a shared word between the two countries. Things we don't share with Australia are Lord of the Rings, the All Blacks, Taika Waititi, and pavlova, which is a delicious dessert that we definitely don't share with the Australians, but they stole it. They've claimed that, and they've claimed a big long list of other, but we won't. We'll move on from that.
Australians have made many claims on New Zealand. Crowded House, Kiwis. Russell Crowe, Kiwi. And Keith Urban, he's also a Kiwi. We don't, however, claim the All Blacks.
Finding Moonga. Dummies. Now holds it up for Reid. Tips it on for a talent. Has Mooney on the hip. Joe Mooney.
The most successful professional sports team in history. We're actually jealous of them, but don't tell anyone I said that. But New Zealand is a country in its own right, with a stunning and rich Indigenous history with equally stunning vistas on offer. As Australia found international fame during the 80s and 90s, New Zealand's wonders came to international light through Hollywood, so through such films as Once Were Warriors and Lord of the Rings, The Piano, as well through music of the aforementioned Crowded House and Keith Urban, and some really funny airline safety videos.
I'm here to guide you on your journey, so cease your rabble-rousing and listen very carefully and obey all crew member instructions and all illuminated signs. If the seatbelt sign were to illuminate, return to your seat right away. Make sure all valuables at your feet are pushed under the seat in front of you.
And fasten your seatbelt low across your hips. Although we recommend you keep your seatbelt fastened through the flight, if you do need to get up, release by lifting the lever or pressing down on the button.
But back in the day, before Peter Jackson's Crowded House and Russell Crowe, there was a rich, at times violent, but always vibrant history to New Zealand. And while the ties between New Zealand and Australia have remained strong, the term Anzac is from World War I, where the countries fought together as Australia and New Zealand Army Corps. And while there is an ongoing healthy love-hate relationship, particularly in sport, New Zealand and Australia are two completely different countries. What would be the major reasons for a globetrotter booking a New Zealand vacation? Well, like most countries in the world, this makes for a long list. One of the driving forces would be nature at her best, offering breathtaking landscapes of stunning and diverse natural beauty, which include majestic and dramatic fjords, spectacular glaciers, rugged mountains, vast plains and farmland, long coastlines, wonderful sandy beaches and active geothermal regions, plus so much more. The country also has a deep Indigenous history, culture, old and colonial. Not least, winelands producing world-class excellent wines. New Zealand is equally enticing and stunning as Australia, and while many may think it offers similar experience to that of Australia, and in some cases it does, New Zealand most definitely is its own unique place of adventure, history and culture. All this is to say that when you think down under, think New Zealand, be it in combination with Australia or better still as a standalone destination. Let's go over the basics of New Zealand. Where is New Zealand? Well, if you've been paying attention, you'll know New Zealand is in the South Pacific, a stone's throw away from Australia. It's easy to get there, though it is a long flight, but as we here at Go Away say, it's a dinner, wine, or a few beers, or a combination of both, a movie and a sleep, then voila, you're in New Zealand. Times to New Zealand from the west coast of North America are approximately 13 hours with a date change, 9 hours from Honolulu, which is direct. New Zealand is a country made up of two major islands, simply called the North and the South Island, which are separated by the Cook Strait, which is 22 kilometres, 14 miles in width at its narrowest point. They contrast not only in terrain and physical features, but also in character and attractions. The North Island is volcanic and thermal. The South Island is 2/3 mountains and 1/3 plain. The North Island offers lush, subtropical vegetation, exotic flora and fauna, beaches and attractive small friendly towns. Approximately 75% of Maori culture exists on the North Island, although only 15% of the total New Zealand population is Maori. The Polynesians, from whom the Maoris are descended, settled here on the North Island many centuries ago.
Early Polynesians eventually settled a vast area of islands spread over 40 million square kilometers of the Pacific Ocean.
An important and famous part of New Zealand culture and heritage is the haka. The haka is a type of ceremonial Maori dance or challenge and is usually performed in a group and typically represents a display of a tribe's pride, strength and unity. Actions include foot stomping, tongue protrusions and rhythmic body slapping to accompany a loud chant. The words of a haka often poetically describe ancestors and events in the tribe's history. The haka was used on the battlefield to prepare warriors mentally and physically for battle, but it was also performed when groups came together in peace. Today, the haka is still used during Maori ceremonies and celebrations to honour guests and show the importance of the occasion. This includes family events like birthdays, weddings and funerals. Made famous by the All Black rugby team as a challenge to their opponents on the sports field, and while they change up the haka for certain games, the kamate, which was composed in the 1820s by the Maori chief Te Rapaawa, is the most famous. One common misconception around the haka is that it should only be performed by males. Now, while there are some haka that can only be performed by men, there are others that can be performed by anyone, and even some women-only hakas. Non-Maori are welcome to learn the haka. However, it is important that you respect the culture and traditions behind the dance. Learn the words and make sure you understand the meanings behind the chant, the significance of a particular haka and what you are trying to express when performing it. The South Island has spectacular scenery consisting of sweeping plains, snow-covered mountains and rugged coasts, and abounds in natural breathtaking landscapes to be experienced on a New Zealand getaway. The Southern Alps mountain chain, which runs through the centre, divides the South Island in two. It is also the location of New Zealand's highest peak, Mount Cook, at 3,750 metres or 12,315 feet, and is highly visible from long distances away. Your international gateway into New Zealand is Auckland in the north of the North Island. The main carriers are Air New Zealand, with their cool safety videos, Qantas, and Air Fiji and Air Tahiti Nui, if looking at going by or stopping, of course, in either Fiji or Tahiti, which we do highly recommend. The airport is plus or minus 26 kilometres, 18 miles away from downtown Auckland, and the airport is well connected by an expressway into downtown where the majority of accommodation choices are. Drive time is approximately 30 minutes to an hour, always dependent upon traffic. We highly recommend a pre-arranged private transfer to get your globetrotting clients to their hotel on arrival. GoAir recommends private guided services. If they are arriving into Auckland from North America with a plus or minus 13-hour flight and a major time slip, the last thing you want your clients to be negotiating is a transfer. Have someone waiting for them on arrival who can advise on money changing and or getting a SIM card and, of course, handling all their baggage. Accommodation choices, like in all main cities in New Zealand and even some smaller towns, abound and range from 3 to 5 star. No visas are required for Canadians or Americans to visit New Zealand.
To that I say, all right, all right, all right.
The size of New Zealand is comparable with that of Great Britain or Japan. The coastline in its entirety measures 1,500 kilometres or 900 miles in length. Strangely enough, the same distance that separates New Zealand from Australia across the Tasman Sea. 20% of the country is covered in national parks, forests and reserves. An interesting fact is that 80% of the flora here is native. Getting around New Zealand. Getting around is best done by air, with many regional gateways such as Christchurch, connecting with flights from Australia, as well as domestic locations such as Dunedin, Queenstown and Rotorua in the north. Getting around by land, time allowing, is also highly recommended. New Zealand is a perfect place for a self-drive vacation, and GoAway has many self-drive options on hand. It is long and narrow, similar in size again to the state of Colorado, and at any given point you are no further than 100 kilometres, 70 miles from the ocean. Apart from the many organised small and large coach tour GoAway offers, there is a national coach circuit that can be used to get around as well. The tremendous diversity of its topography is comparable to an entire continent. Within a few hours travel, you can go from subtropical beaches to alpine glaciers, from fjords to rainforests, and from cosmopolitan cities to great tracts of wilderness. With so much to see and do, we recommend that you allow at least 2 weeks to explore this extraordinary country by road, all Be like Captain Cook and take a boutique cruise around New Zealand, a very popular choice, particularly when you get to navigate the famous Milford Sound. What is that, you ask?
Tell us, Don.
Situated on the west coast of the South Island, Milford Sound is a fusion of spectacular natural features with amazing visual cues around every corner. Described by Rudyard Kipling as the eighth wonder of the world, Milford Sound was carved by glaciers during the Ice Ages. Breathtaking in any weather, the fjord's cliffs rise vertically from the dark waters. Mountain peaks scrape the sky and waterfalls cascade downwards from as high as 1,000 metres, 1,400 feet. When it rains in Milford Sound, and it often does, those waterfalls multiply with magnificent effect. Boat cruises, during the day or even overnight, are an excellent way to experience the sound. Adventurous types might also like to head out to sea kayaking, diving or flight seeing. To learn more about the local marine life, visit the Underwater Observatory at Harrison Cove and marvel at the black coral, 11-legged sea stars and delicate anemones.
Okay, don't hurt yourself.
The perfect option for a cruise and the Sound is the 13-day Auckland to Milford Sound cruise, sailing down the east coast of the two main islands. When to go to New Zealand? If the weather is the deciding factor for your globetrotting clients, i.e. they like heat or don't like heat, and you're wondering when is the best time to visit New Zealand, it helps tremendously, of course, to know which places you want to visit. If visiting both North and South Islands, be ready to dress in layers. New Zealand's climate can vary enormously from moderate in the south to subtropical in the far north. The total length of the country is a narrow 1,600 kilometres, 900 miles. This is not much less than the distance from the Canadian-US border to Florida. So globetrotters need to keep in mind how different climates of these locales can be at any given time in any given season. And of course, clients need to pack accordingly. Also remember, the seasons in New Zealand are reversed from those in North America. Now that may sound like a simple point, but many forget this fact. To summarize, December to February is summer, March to May is fall, June to August is winter, and September to November is spring. Regardless of season, New Zealand is a year-round destination, but available activities and weather will vary according to your destination. If the weather is the deciding factor for your globetrotting clients, i.e. they like heat or don't like heat, and you're wondering when is the best time to visit New Zealand, it helps tremendously, of course, to know which places you want to visit. So globetrotters need to keep in mind how different climates of these locales can be at any given time in any given season. And of course, clients need to pack accordingly. Now breaking it down into the main areas of interest, we have North Island, Auckland. Summer is warm with lots of sunshine. Extreme heat is rare and evenings are pleasant. Temperatures average 23 Celsius, 73 Fahrenheit. Winter stays mild and sunny with some rain. The last time it snowed in Auckland was 77 years ago. This is not surprising as the average temperature in winter reaches 50 degrees Celsius, 59 Fahrenheit, with nighttime lows only around 8 Celsius, 39 Fahrenheit. Spring is pleasantly warm and sunny with temperatures reaching 19 Celsius or 66 Fahrenheit. Wellington. Wellington is situated at the southern tip of the North Island and the weather is somewhat inconsistent within the same season. Hold on tight to your hat as Wellington owns the title of the world's windiest city. Winter is very short season with some frost at night in the hillier areas with the average temperature of 12 degrees Celsius or 54 Fahrenheit. Rotorua. Rotorua is situated inland and is sheltered by high hills on two sides which protect it from being windy. Summer is usually hot and dry with odd days being humid. Winter is a different story. It's generally sunny but with cold winds blowing from the south and it can snow. Temperatures range from 9 degrees Celsius to 6 or 47 to 61 Fahrenheit. Both spring and fall are nice times to be in Rotorua with mild warm days but cool when the sun goes down. Bay of Islands. The beautiful region in the far north of New Zealand has a subtropical climate, so no cold weather. The summer here is pleasantly hot with lots of sunshine with often cooling breezes in the evenings. Hawke's Bay. Bay, including Napier, can have sudden temperature changes in all seasons. It has sporadic rainfall in the summer and spring. However, having said that, Hawke's Bay is renowned for its Mediterranean climate, long hot summers and mild winter, plus lots of sunshine. This is why it is a region well known for producing excellent wines. Remember that one. Looking to the South Island, Christchurch. Christchurch has a dry temperate climate where a snowfall in the winter might happen once a year. July is the wettest month and September the driest. Generally, Christchurch is a comfortable place to be all year round. Queenstown. Queenstown has 4 distinct seasons, with December being the wettest month and September being the driest. Expect snow in the winter as Queenstown is surrounded by mountains and Queenstown is a famous skiing destination. Summer is sunny and mild with a range of temperatures from 20 to 23 Celsius, 68 to 73 Fahrenheit. Nearby Queenstown are ski slopes and there will be snow at these locations. In town, the weather is crisp with clear skies most of the time. The average temperature in winter is around 15 degrees Celsius, 59 Fahrenheit, with much cooler temperatures at night. To summarize, December to February is summer. March to May is fall, June to August is winter, and September to November is spring. So now you know where New Zealand is, how to get there, when to go, what's the best time in each area. Let's now look at what each area has to offer, and in the end I'll show you some of the best-selling travel ideas for New Zealand. Like many countries, New Zealand is done in one trip, but to see it properly it would take 2 or 3 visits. GoAway accepts people may not have that time, budget, or may want to check off more and different countries on their bucket list of destinations. As such, we will cover now the biggest sites to consider for New Zealand for the first time globetrotter. Auckland. Starting with the North Island, the largest city is Auckland, known as City of Sails, due to having around 135,000 registered sailboats bobbing in its harbour. The city sits on a volcanic field and the nearby Rangitoto Island is an unpopulated landmass formed by volcanic activity. Harbour area teems with life both time and the evening, with its many cafes, restaurants and bars and other entertainments. A popular pastime is to take a harbour cruise for a different visual perspective of Auckland. This cruise is often included on our stopovers for Auckland. Culturally, one can choose from a number of venues such as the Auckland Art Gallery with its 15,000 works of art, War Memorial Museum, which not only depicts life during World Wars and others, but also has an excellent exhibition of Maori and Polynesian people's arts and crafts. Wellington. Wellington is the national capital and is a very attractive city renowned for its natural beauty and also for its arts and culture, and is located in the south of the North Island. It is ringed by mountains and rolling hills, has a rugged coastline. A vibrant city, it offers trendy cafes, restaurants, boutiques, and several art galleries. To discover the city, take the cable car to Mount Victoria or Mount Kauku to enjoy a panoramic view of Wellington and its surroundings. Rotorua. Rotorua is the centre of most of the thermal activity in New Zealand. It is known as a thermal wonderland due to its many gushing hot springs and geysers, and because of these natural phenomena, Rotorua is usually included on a New Zealand getaway. Also in Rotorua, other attractions such as the Rainbow Springs National Park, beautiful landscape gardens featuring fish and birds, including the flightless kiwi bird, hence the nickname for a New Zealander, kiwi, and the Agrodome, with its exhibition of rural New Zealand life, including sheep shearing demonstrations. Nearby, the Watomo glowworm caves, with their interesting limestone formations. The Bay of Islands. The subtropical Bay of Islands is a very pretty region in the far north of the North Island, made up of around 150 islands, a wonderful destination to both relax and explore on a New Zealand getaway. A good place to see dolphins, whales and penguins. The main centre is Paia, with its superb beaches and the site of the Tangi Treaty, signed in 1840 to unite the country. Russell is a short ferry ride from Paia and is a charming township with an interesting history. Hawke's Bay. Hawke's Bay is one of the major centres of New Zealand wine producing regions. It is also home to the cities of Napier and Hastings, which offer unusual architecture. An earthquake destroyed much of the unique Art Deco buildings here in 1931, but they have now been restored to their original beauty. Here are some of our suggested travel ideas for Auckland and the North Island of New Zealand. North Island Self-Drive. 9-day first-class self-drive. Drive from Auckland to Wellington, discovering the many highlights that the North Island has to offer. Stop on the Coromandel Peninsula and Rotorua, then visit Lake Tapu and Napier along the way. 7-day New Zealand reflections from Auckland. First class, tailor-made. If you want to explore the best of New Zealand on an independent basis but have limited time, try this classic 7-day tour that takes you to New Zealand's vibrant cities and natural wonders, including Auckland, Rotorua, Queenstown and the Milford Sound. 3-day beautiful Bay of Islands. Moderate, tailor-made. Extend your stay on New Zealand's North Island with a trip to the Bay of Islands. Enjoy the stunning coastal scenery and impeccable stretches of beach in the beautiful Bay of Islands. Visit historic Russell and Cape Reinga before heading back to the Bay and on to Auckland. 3-day Discover Auckland City of Sails. Moderate, tailor-made. Spend 3 days exploring Auckland, known as the City of Sails because of the many yachts that bob in the harbour. Let's now head south and look to the South Island of New Zealand, Christchurch. The South Island boasts many choices to confirm its overwhelming natural beauty that makes up the region. Starting with the largest city, Christchurch, one finds a very English metropolis, with its buildings, gardens and Avon River, which flows through the heart of the city. Stroll along the banks of the tree-lined Avon River and observe the neo-Gothic architecture. Largely rebuilt after the devastating recent earthquake, the city has not lost its charm. Taking Christchurch Cathedral, the Botanical Gardens and the Christchurch Art Gallery, as well as taking a simple stroll through its streets and parks. One can take a cable car up to Port Hills for a panoramic view of both Christchurch and the Port of Lyttelton on the coast. Queenstown. Probably the most visited destination on a New Zealand getaway is the city of Queenstown in the South Island, a charming and scenic resort town located on Lake Wakatipu, surrounded by mountains called the Remarkables. I tell you, we Aussies and Kiwis keep it simple when it comes to naming things. Apart from its natural beauty, it is also a centre for many sporting activities and adventure activities. It also has a lively nightlife. One iconic excursion is to take a cruise on a restored steamship on Lake Wakatipu. Also, one can take the gondola to Bob's Peak, great views of the entire region. It is the South Island's most popular resort and the base for excursions into the surrounding mountains and nearby fjords, including Milford Sound. In winter, Queenstown is New Zealand's main skiing centre, and in summer, even larger numbers of visitors come to take part in the outdoor adventure activities ranging from trout fishing to paragliding and whitewater rafting to bungee jumping. Town is compact enough to get around on foot, with courtesy vehicles, buses or taxis available to take you to outlying attractions. Queenstown has more than 100 restaurants and plenty of entertainment, accommodations to suit all tastes and budgets, and of course always great shopping. Each of the seasons has its own special vibe in Queenstown, and the great thing is that most activities can be accessed all year round. Well renowned for its adventure, Queensland is home to a huge choice of adrenaline activities, including jet boating, bungee jumping, whitewater rafting, skydiving, and even indoor thrills, all guaranteed to get your blood pumping. When the cooler months arrive in Queenstown, it transforms into a world-class winter resort with 4 ski and a range of activities, bars, restaurants, and ways to relax and unwind. You can even combine a round of golf at one of Queenstown's gorgeous clubs one morning with a tour of some of the wineries and cellar doors in Gippsland, and further afield to discover why Central Otago Pinot Noir is famous on the world stage of wines. If you're looking for a slightly slower pace, there's plenty of recreational activities including hiking, biking trails to explore, guided tours, sedate boat cruises, scenic flights, or spa and wellness options all around Queenstown. Fiordland, and yes, that is spelt correctly. Not too far from Queenstown is the Fiordland National Park, with its sheer rock walls rising straight out of the sea. The best known natural attraction is Milford Sound, an amazingly dramatic and stunning fjord and a must inclusion on all New Zealand getaways. Covering nearly 3 million acres, wild, rugged and remote, Fiordland is one of the largest national parks in the world. Protected by its isolation, some of New Zealand's rarest birds are found here, as well as some of the country's best known hiking tracks. Te Anau, an attractive resort on the shores of Lake Te Anau, is a starting point for Fjord National Park and outdoor activities. One can take a cruise on the Sound, watching seals, dolphins and penguins while sailing past flowing and cascading waterfalls. Deanu is a small town which is the gateway to the Fiordland National Park, nestled on the edge of the lake and the perfect location for setting off on hikes or walks, or simply relax and take in the surrounding beauty. Sometimes referred to as the walking capital of the world, its accommodations range from 4-star hotels and motels to backpacker hostels, grounds and farm stays. It also has fine restaurants serving the specialties of the region: lobster, venison and fresh fish. Milford Sound is the most accessible and best known of the glacier-cut fjords. The famous Milford Track, running from Deanu to Milford Sound, offers 500 kilometres, 300 miles of walking trails to satisfy even the most energetic. Dunedin. The city of Dunedin in the south of the island is known as the Edinburgh of the South due to its Scottish heritage. The architecture and steep streets give the city its character. A gracious, distinctive city of grand 19th century buildings and beautiful gardens, Dunedin is a city of culture and learning, distinguished by libraries, parks, churches and New Zealand's largest and oldest university. Bearing the Gaelic the name Edinburgh, Dunedin was settled by Scots and made prosperous Otago gold rushes in the 1860s. Dunedin's Victorian character is preserved in its many fine stone buildings. Marlborough region. The Marlborough region on the north coast of the South Island is the gateway to South Island and is where the ferries are from the North Island. It is an important wine producing region and is known for its wine festivals. Picton is an attractive seafront town with a number of arts and crafts centres. Blenheim has one of the sunniest climates in the country, a rugged coastline suitable for interesting walks. Nelson is surrounded by snow-capped mountains, lush green forests, rolling vineyards and golden beaches. The sea here is a beautiful turquoise colour. To sum up, New Zealand is truly a paradise and a country in which to invest a good deal of time to discover its magical and unique charms. Now, here are some of our suggested ideas for the South Island. 10-day South Island self-drive. First class self-drive. Drive full circle from Christchurch and back again, seeing the many highlights available on the South Island, including the famous Pancake Rocks and Franz Josef, Milford Sound and Dunedin. 13-day island in-depth by coach. First class, tailor-made. Travel to the South Island experiencing all it has to offer. Enjoy whale watching in Kaikoura, Abel Tasman National Park, the West Coast Glacier region, as well as Queenstown and Scottish-influenced Dunedin. 5-day Fiordland Great Walks. Moderate, tailor-made. Enjoy 3 guided walks in Fiordland on the world-famous Milford, Rottenburn and Kepler tracks. Enjoy diverse and spectacular scenery from native forests, lakes and rivers to mountain views, vast fjords and lush valleys. As you can see, so much to see and do in New Zealand, and lots of choices mean lots of planning. Regardless of season, New Zealand is a year-round destination, but available activities and weather will vary according to your destination and the time of year of travel. GoAway has been planning trips to New Zealand for Globetrotters for over 50 years, so we can literally do this one in our sleep. 5, 4 and 3-star or a combination of all. Private guided, always our recommendation. GoAway recommends private guided services. Or coach touring, small group or self-drives, cruises, or a combination of everything. And private group travel handled by our group's only team. Adventure, culture, luxury, or lifestyle stays. Or, you guessed it, a combination of all. GoAway has done it all and is ready to help you create that perfect customized New Zealand experience for your globetrotting client. It's now question time. This is your captain speaking. We know you have a choice when attending webinars. We hope that you found today's webinar fun and informative. We look forward to welcoming you back to our next webinar. Thank you all very much for signing in today. We appreciate the time that you take to listen in. Keep an eye out for more of GoAway's wide world of webinars, or GoAway www. And as always, hit the like button, share the video, and of course subscribe and hit the alerts button to stay up to date on all the latest, updates. Go Away can be found at all these favourite social media channels. Until next time,